everyone, Abby here at Purple Cottage Crafts, and this is probably one of the most exciting slash favorite projects that I've made to date, aside from my kids' baby books and things like that, of course, and my wedding album. But I am an avid fan of Gone with the Wind, and I have been since I was about 14, 15, I think it was, when I first saw it for the first time, and I have been obsessed. I have literally seen the movie over 100 times. From 14, I'm now 45, and I am just obsessed with it. So this is a video kind of response to Nick the Booksmith's challenge for doing a tome based on a novel, like a historical novel of some sort. And of course, I chose Gone with the Wind, hands down. Didn't even take me 2 seconds to think of it. Now, this is a video. It's going to be shared on her social media because it is kind of a challenge. I will have a full-length flip through on my YouTube channel probably by Saturday or Sunday at the latest on my YouTube channel. Today is the 16th because I want to try to keep this within about 20 to 25 minutes, and I'm such a gabber, as you all know, and I'm talking about one of my most favorite things in the world aside from my family. So this is what I created. Now, I'm not done. I'm about maybe 2/3 done. It's always going to be kind of a continuing work in progress for me because there's different things I want to add to it, and it'll make sense once I open her up. So this is one of the 4 books I've purchased of the older, like this year print. This one came damaged, and I knew that. There was like some pages missing and things of that nature, but I bought it for the sole purpose of respectfully taking pages out and incorporating them into my tome for Gone with the Wind, because this is staying with me till I die. I love this movie. I love this book so far, and I just wanted to mention that. But this is the name of the book that I'm doing my tome off of. So I don't have the title plate on here yet because I'm still kind of working out how I want that to look. Normally I just, you know, have an ornate frame on here, but I'm going to look for something a little bit different because this is a very special tome for me. So just real quickly, I will go over this in more detail on my channel, of course, and I mean, well, this is my channel, but in my actual full flip through video. But this is just kind of the color palette and some of the different materials and mediums and things that kind of helped inspire me. So this is my creative process. I pick out what it is I want to do, then I go gather different things that inspire me to create that project. And of course, there's a ton more than what you're seeing, but this is kind of the spine, so to speak, the base of what led me to get this created. So I'm going to go ahead and push these off to the side for a moment. And like I said, she's not done, but you know what? It's always a work in progress for me, especially on this kind of a thing, because I will always probably work on this for quite some time to come because I really enjoy, you know, adding different notes and things like that. So this is the cover thus far. Let me stand up here and make sure I'm in frame here. And it's just got this really gorgeous paint with this. This is some vintage gold metallic from Prima, and I will have a full supply list when I do my formal flip through on my YouTube channel. So I keep saying my YouTube channel because this is going to be linked onto Nick, so I apologize for that. Here's the back, and I intentionally had some of the texture, the relief, to be worn down in more spots because the theory is, or my thought is like when you're holding the tome like this, whether you're just holding it to grab it off the bookshelf or it's open and you're holding it, this is the natural wear and tear of your hands on this, because I really wanted to make this kind of like a tome that you would find sitting in a dusty old studio shelf, like you know, David O. Selznick's office or something, and also with that you would find in like a collector's home or somebody like me. Well, I do collect Gone with the Wind stuff, but yeah, so that's kind of what this is. It's like a combo scrapbook and kind of like a time capsule. And I will get this baby opened and I will show you what I have inside so far. So I have this gold here. This trim is so cool. It's really neat fabric that I found, and it really works perfectly. I'm trying to do this sideways for some reason. It really works perfectly with the theme of the Gone with the Wind. And for me, when I think of the colors of Gone with the Wind, I instantly am drawn to the scene where Mammy or Scarlett is telling Mammy to go upstairs and get, you know, her mom's sewing kit and whatnot because she wants to make some dress out of the green curtains in the parlor. So that's why I chose to have the green be the main cover, plus, you know, Scarlett O'Hara, her father is Irish, and so Scarlett was Irish as well, and so kind of the colors of the green hills of Ireland and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of why I chose this color palette, and then use the gold to kind of make that relief kind of stand out as an accent color. So that's the reason. So this is basically like the curtains, the dress, and I chose this gold here as the you know, the robes and the ties that she used on the dress once she made it. So open it up and you can see here it's pretty thick, and you can tell this back part right here isn't all the way done. I have different paper shoved in there, but this part's really been really embellished. So when you first open it, and I'm still deciding if I want to put like a formal book plate in here, I probably will, but it starts off with, and this is just some really gorgeous fabric that just, I was just so inspired by so many different fabrics that I recently came into, and they were just screaming, Abby, use me, and Gone with the Wind. So this is the first signature here, and the reason I started with this signature, this photo here, this is Margaret Mitchell, because if it wasn't for Margaret Mitchell, this wouldn't even exist. She wrote Gone with the Wind, and while she was recovering from a broken ankle, and actually she, you know, in her biography, she had stated that she started the book out of boredom. And I'm like, you know, I don't wish ill on anybody, but I'm kind of glad she was bored and had her ankle hurt, because this is a huge part of my life. I just have loved Gone with the Wind for so many years, and I just love it. So a little bit about Margaret Mitchell, while I'm kind of flipping through here, is, actually, let me tell this real quick. She was born in November of 1900, and I already talked about why Gone with the Wind, the book, came about. And this was actually the only novel that was ever published, and of hers, you know. After, you know, Gone with the Wind, she would, you know, she didn't produce anything else or publish another book after. And of course, at her death, this was the only book that was ever published. So, and what I did here, there's a couple things you're going to see in here, and I'll go into, like I said, more detail in my full flip through, but I want to note a few things. These are some different elements from Nick the Booksmith's digital kits that she has, and what I did is I just cut out some of the, she has like tape over, it's a digital paper kit, and it has like tape over like a memo note or whatever. I fussy cut that out, did some crackle medium on it, and wanted to create this kind of old weathered, you know, nameplate, and the tape was holding on. So, and that's her signature. I printed off on to some coffee paper. So that's the first part, or the first page there. And this really kind of explains my love of this movie, and just the colors, the story behind it, you know, the history, and you know, a lot of the Civil War stuff, or at least some of the family things that are discussed in the book and in the movie, you know, Margaret Mitchell actually drew from personal experiences and from family and things like that. So on the front here, I just have a little blurb about Margaret Mitchell. That's a brief bio, and that's just printed on some different coffee papers and some different fabrics that I distressed to kind of make it look that aged look. And then here is a photo of, in case you've never seen it before, I'll point it out real quick. This is Clark Gable. He played Rhett Butler. Vivian Lee, she played Scarlett O'Hara. This is Leslie Howard. He played Ashley, and this is Olivia de Havilland, and she played Melanie. And little fun fact, Ashley almost didn't get cast for this role because he was older, and they were concerned about him looking too old to be a beau of, you know, well, potential beau of Scarlett and the husband of Olivia de Havilland. But, you know, I couldn't imagine anybody else playing that part. So I have a little pearl pin right here, and then I have some pockets and things tucked around. These are actually ticket stubs from Gone with the Wind. Our theater here in Florida, our part of Florida, they do a throwback theater, and every Sunday each month they will play a classic movie, and luckily they played Gone with the Wind a few months back. So I have some photos and things I'm going to include in that, of course. This is just a little book tucked in right back here that I printed off, just some more of the, you know, rusty bits and some of the more of the different fabrics and things that really inspired me to create this project. And then there's a photo of her with this as well. Now I'm going to kind of go a little quicker because I'm almost at 10 minutes and I'm not past the first page. So I'll try here. So this is just some fabric again that I just did some stamping on with just like some tree bark. I really kind of wanted to evoke this is the part I'm talking about where it would be like something you would find in like Louis B. Mayer's office, or, you know, David O. Selznick's office or something, where it's like cast notes and, you know, cast photos and swatches of clothing. And, you know, so I had some rusty pins that I poked through some coffee dye papers. You're going to see a lot of tea things in here too from my girl Michelle Scott. She's linked below. Check her out. She made an awesome book. Hers is The Great Gatsby. So I will link that video as well so you can check that out. Anyway, so back to the story. So that's kind of why I did this, and I use my typewriter for everything. Be kind. It's been a long time since I've typed on an actual typewriter, since high school. And so I just kind of did this here. These are some key people in the movie, and I'll go over those in detail when I do my full flip through, of course. And then when you flip this fabric flip up here, I have it where it's like a little color storyboard with fabrics, some different fabrics and materials that are kind of laces and things that are kind of clipped with some rusty pins to kind of evoke that, okay, so for, you know, Scarlett's father, let's make him kind of wear this kind of, you know, the gold and the green because he's Irish. And, you know, and her mom, let's get some more of the rich, you know, the rich, darker red tones, that kind of thing. It was my thought process. I hope that makes sense. True fan here. And then so these are just some more different, some more critical players in the movie of Gone with the Wind. And again, in my full flip through, I will go over that. This flips up here, and there's some room for me to write on the back if I choose to. And then the next page, this is just some kind of behind the scene miscellaneous photos that I have in here. This is Clark Gable and Vivian Leigh dancing rehearsal, and I will cite the website where I got a lot of the information that I didn't already know myself, but I went specifically found some, so I will of course cite them in this video as well as my full flip through, just to mention that. So I just have like one of my little collagey fabric strips down here going down the side. I'll probably come back, maybe add a couple little buttons or things like that. So that's what I love about this. Even though it's not 100% done, I can still come back. Maybe I'll find a really cool vintage button somewhere that I think that's going to work perfectly in here. Or, you know, some type of a piece of fabric that would replicate, you know, the black taffeta dress that she was wearing when she was in mourning. So it's going to be a continual thing that I add and add layers to. So I'm really excited about that. This says miscellaneous script notes and changes. Don't laugh at me. I'm such a fan. My mind goes crazy like that. I just think like I was there or whatever. I wish I would have been. And so I just got some different papers. These of course are from Michelle Scott's stuff. And then I did some, used a Tim Holtz coffee stain stencil, and then these are just little places where I can, you know, write. I could put in my typewriter and type some more information or just take notes, things like that. And then moving on, so this part here is where this page I kind of created as a the official contract signing, so to speak, of all of the stars. So I use this ledger paper here that I copy dyed. It says David O. Selznick, which I hand wrote, of course. And then I wrote January 16, 1939, because that is when they signed their official contracts. I figured, you know, this would be in the office, maybe they're having coffee or something, and hence the coffee rings there. So on this side here, oops, I forgot to flip this out. This can be flipped up here too. It's like a little tip in. You know, I can flip it out like this, and I can add more photos. I can type on some more paper and actually stick it to this if I want to do that. And then over here, this is a little flip page you'll see here in a second. This is a really pretty doily. I mean, here are some more of Nick the Booksmith's tape pieces I fussy cut out of her digital kit. And then I just wrote Selznick International Pictures in Metro Goldwyn Mayer studio contracts. So I'm trying to create this vibe of, oh, this is what it probably looked like when they went, you know, the papers, and I don't know. So this here is Olivia de Havilland, and then Leslie Howard, I almost said Scarlett O'Hara, I mean Vivian Leigh, and this is David O. Selznick. And so these three were signing their contracts with David O. Selznick to confirm, you know, their contracts for their roles for Gone with the Wind. So I just typed on here the office of David O. Selznick. Here's just some more of that fabric on a rusty paper clip. It says memo, Gone with the Wind leading cast signing their contracts. And on this side, I really wish I could have found a picture with Clark Gable in this, but he did his contract signing separate, so I wasn't able to find that. Or when he's doing at least the official signing. And so this is Louis B. Mayer from MGM Studios, and that's David O. Selznick in the background. I don't know these two gentlemen's name. I'll have to try to find it so I can put it in the book as I work on it. And of course, this is Mr. Clark Gable himself. So he's signing his contract, and then I just have this rusty clip here that I rusted up. And then I just clipped this page in here, this little card in here. This is another one of Nick's different digital kits. I just cut out a tab, did some crackling on it, and then this is just a piece of tape paper I had, and then I just wrote on there, you know, Mr. Clark Gable. And then this is like a piece of ledger paper, like where, you know, where they would figure out their salaries and whatever. And I just have these kind of clipped in here, so I can always remove these if I want to add additional information or ephemera, things like that. So Let's clip that back on. And then I have like lots of, some different lacy bits and tulle and things like that to kind of make it soft and flowing, kind of feminine. And this is what I'm calling the storyboard for Miss Lee's wedding dress when she was married to her first husband, which you'll see here coming up. So I just have this really pretty applique, a picture of her, and I did some inking with old photo from Tim Holtz, so it looks old. So I have that there, and then this is like her storyboard. This is some vintage dress pattern paper, and it's just over some really pretty cardstock that I have a couple, blingy bits maybe for her earrings or on her sleeves or whatever. This is a vintage blue hanky, so for her something old. I'm kind of nodding to that. And then here's like this is a satin wedding dress. I buy these and I cut them up in Eastman Projects, and I intentionally stained these a little bit with some different Tattered Angel sprays to kind of make them look old, because again, my idea is somebody's going to pull this off of a shelf and be like, oh my gosh, look at this really cool storyboard from Vivian Lee's wedding dress from Gone with the Wind, and it's like all aged and everything. So, and again, I use the tacks again to kind of evoke that pin board type of thought there. And then on the next page, this is Butterfly McQueen, and she played Prissy. She was one of the house slaves as well as Mammy. Mammy was actually Scarlett's personal servant, whatever you want to call her, but that's Hattie McDaniel, and I have more on her coming up. This is a page from Gone with the Wind. I just tore around the edges, and I'm keeping the scraps to use later. And then I just have like a little collage strip down here with some different fibers and different fabrics and some laces. This is a really cool fabric Michelle sent me. It works perfect. I love it because there is this is not color, this picture, but in the movie you will see Prissy in outfits where she's kind of got this kind of plaid checked kind of look. So I thought that was perfect. So these are kind of Scarlett's bows and her husband's in the movie. So these are the Tarleton twins. You'll see them in the very beginning of the, well, once Scarlett leaves Tara to go to the Wilkes's home, the Twin Oaks, for a barbecue. So these two are twins, and they, everybody chased after her. She was a beautiful girl, and she was used to all this attention and everything from all these guys. So these are her husbands. This is Charles Hamilton. This is Melanie's husband, brother. And so Scarlett married him out of spite because Ashley married Melanie. And then this is Frank Kennedy. This is her second husband, and this was actually her sister, or one of her sisters' beaux, but she married him. And I'll tell more why the long flip through. And then of course here's Mr. Rhett Butler. So just kind of back these on this really pretty fabric, and again more rusty bits there. So I typed this up on a piece of paper Michelle sent me, and it says movie notes. And so I just kind of tore it and inked it and did another Tim Holtz coffee stain stencil on there just to kind of evoke, like, okay, they're sitting there in the studio and they're typing out notes, and they put their coffee cup down or whatever, or probably maybe even like a martini glass, because I know in classic Hollywood they would always drink during the day and things like that. So I just kind of typed out just a brief list of the people who are in, the characters and whatnot, and I can still put this back on my typewriter and write more on the back if I choose to do so. But just again trying to evoke that whole faux vintage ephemera that I wish I had my hands on, so I'm creating it myself for this project. So here is just another behind the scenes photo, just backed on some thick dark green basil cardstock. I have a couple different papers tucked in here, and these again are tabs from Nick's digital kits, one of her planner kit. This is just some blank paper. I haven't written anything in these or typed on these yet, but I can. And then this really cool piece of graph paper from Michelle as well. So this worked out perfect. My Happy Mail from her came when I was building the pages, so it was like perfect timing. And this little pocket back here, and I can come back, like I said, because I will be coming back, and I can add like little tucks of more fabric, or maybe I'll find out more information online about what they were discussing in this particular scene, so I can add it to the tome. So here I have a couple pages I tore out from the book Gone with the Wind, and one I'm using for parts, so to speak. I just underlined some different lines and parts for Rhett in here, and again did some more of that coffee stencil. And then this is a pocket here, and I call these my inspiration strips in my other junk journals and things that I create, but these I'm calling my script strips. So like I can pull these out and I can handwrite in these or put on my typewriter again, and be like, David Selznick requested a scene change, blah, 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 and I can indicate that on here, because even though I've seen the movie so many times and I have a huge Gone with One collection, I still am learning about, you know, the behind the scenes type of thing. So I put this here with Rhett's information because I really wanted to make this front and center. It's him in the car. I'm sure it's just a photo op, but he's just, you know, he's looking through the book, the one that was released originally. So there's that in the back side here, and then I will be adding some different strips and different information bits about the movie in this little pocket here as well. And this is another page from the book. These are just some blank pages. I mean, they're coffee dyed and tea dyed, but there's nothing on them yet. But I have them clipped on here so I can add to as I want to as I go along. So here's another picture of Margaret Mitchell. Now I've come across a handful where she's actually smiling. There's a lot of information about her that I will include in my full flip through, but so I don't try to keep this pretty short, but I'm trying, guys. It's hard because I'm so gabby and I love this movie so much. There's just so much to talk about. It's really hard. So on this page here, this is I actually have a video which I will link in this video, as well as my full flip through where I showed how I recreated this old frame. But this is a picture, and this is one of my favorite pictures where she's actually looking happy and smiling, and you can see the names I put on there. I typed these out and I did some clear crackling on it to kind of give it that old kind of glossy look, and on the back it's padded so I can add more information if I want to on the back of the picture. So it feels just like an old, real true old photo, which is what I was going for. And just some more blank pages here. Got a couple journaling cards here. This is going to be tipped in eventually, but this is just a picture, and I wrote information there because I want to back this on some cardstock. And I'm doing further research to try to find more information about these particular photos that I'm finding online, like what was going on that day, so I can add that to the tome. This is another little doily pocket here to put more information. Some more blank pages. Really, really pretty cardstock I found. And I did some snippet trimming on this one. This is her again. I'm not sure what function she was at for this, but there she is. And I'm going to type on top here too once I get, like I said, more research. And then we're going to the second signature. This one I'm calling, so the first one is all about Margaret Mitchell and the birthplace, truly, of Gone with the Wind. So now we're going to move on to the segment of all of the different PR, promotion, all the ads for, hey, come see Gone with the Wind, it's new release movie, and blah, blah, blah. So that's what this signature cover looks like. You open this here. This is one of the publicity photos when they were first showing Gone with the Wind in theaters. Just added some really fun kind of gold intensely fiber there just to kind of go with the whole glitz and glam of Hollywood. This is just this is like a ephemera piece that it looks like a ticket, so I wanted to put that in there. I probably photocopy our tickets like and make them larger so I can stick them in there as well. So there's a little pocket there. And now this beauty, she gets a couple pages all to herself. This is Hattie McDaniel. She is the one that played Mammy. I think I've said it 20 times by now, Abby. But she is the first African American to ever win an Oscar. And being African American myself, this is extra special to me. I just think it's amazing. I love her. She's been in a ton of movies. So she's kind of backed on this really kind of Hollywood glam silver page for herself, and that's her getting her Oscar. And then I just kind of did some information about her winning. On this back side, this is a picture. This is actually the same picture, but, well, actually that's not true. This is a little bit different picture. There's somebody, it doesn't matter, it's not important. Anyway, so this one actually had Margaret Mitchell in it. I thought that was really cool. So this is some really pretty fabric that I added some lace here. I backed it on the back of that cardstock with a little glitter and shimmery for, like, again, that Hollywood glam. And the reason I chose blue here is because her dress was actually blue that she wore for the Oscars that night. So that's why I chose that blue to go in there to kind of evoke that, since it's not a colored color picture. And then here are just some more shots and pictures of, the different cast members and their spouses out on the town celebrating, things like that. This is David O. Selznick again. This is Vivian Lee. That's Laurence Olivier, her husband. This is Carol Lombard, and then Clark Gable, and they were husband and wife, of course. And then here's another photo of Clark and Carol Lombard, and I kind of matted this and stuck it to the back of this page because it's just like a really nice kind of formal photo. And you can see her thing here's like this. It's either silver or gold lemmy. I forget which color it was actually. And then here's another shot, a publicity shot of them preparing the theater for the movie, the film of Gone with the Wind. Okay, kind of moving on. Each signature has this really cool gold vellum in there as well. Here's more pages from the book. So we're going to start seeing some spots where it's not as heavily decorated as the first part, but that's the joy and the fun of me getting to work on this constantly. So this page here is really cool gold paper. This is Mr. and Mrs. Laurence Olivier, and I just typed that because that's just, you know, their husband and wife. Kind of want to give Mr. Laurence a little bit of nod in here as well, because he's also another fantastic actor, and he's definitely in my top 10 male classic movie actors. Just some more empty coffee papers there. This is the back side of that signature with the gold. And then we're kind of moving towards the next signature, just a doily again. And here's the bottom side of that movie poster. This is probably my favorite signature photo. This is just so gorgeous. And you'll see the back once I get to it here. Let me flip over real quick and I'll show you. So you can see the back side. Just really, really pretty. And I love the fabric that you can see peeking through each signature. It just goes perfectly with the whole theme and everything. So I just added some green selvage edge on the top and the bottom just to kind of dress it up a little bit. And the reason why you're seeing this instead of her on the green dress is because if you've never seen the movie, this is the reason why. This is the main reason why she made the dress from the curtains to go see Rhett in jail, to try to evoke this, like, oh yes, I'm doing great and things are wonderful, and she's going there to ask for $300 because that's the back taxes on Tara, and it was being threatened to be up for auction, and she didn't want that because that's her family home. So I just kind of popped this up with some adhesive backing. This is a picture of Tara right here in the background. It's an actual real photo of the home that they built to, you know, for the movie. And then this is her holding some of the dirt from Tara in her hand. And this page here, I love this paper. It's like very Art Deco, kind of Hollywood vibe to me. So on this piece of paper here, I just typed out, and you can pause it if you want to read it, but this is what she's remembering from her as she's standing there with this dirt in her hand. This is what her father said to her in the first part of the movie. So that's why I really wanted to make this the focal piece and not all the extra stuff right now, because this is the reason why she did what she did. So I really wanted to have that its own place. So here is the back side of that really cool paper. I just did some you know, some inking with a couple different distress inks. This is actual true form 100% vintage lace that I had, and I've been hoarding this. I have like probably another half a yard or so. I've been hoarding this because it's like legitimately like authentic vintage lace. I've had it for probably 15 years, but this is such a special project to me because it's for me and it's my movie I love. I add a little bit. So this is some stitching, added some more of that really cool fabric, a metal piece, and then just a large flat back pearl just to kind of add that you know, extra kind of glam, kind of dressed up over the top kind of a look. Now this is a replica of an old Sears catalog paper. I put that in there and you'll see why when I do the full flip through. Here is a really beautiful page, I think. This is her backed up onto the different, couple different layers of fibers and materials and things like that. This, and so it says, "Oh, Rhett, you scoundrel." She says that to him when she gets to the jail. And I just have, this is on, here we go. This is another piece of ledger paper. And then here is another, this is some vintage dress form pattern paper again. This is the page, this is not done yet. I have some swatching I'm going to clip on here. But this is where she's first looking at the drapes and getting the light bulb idea of, oh, I need to make a dress. And they had no money, that's why she was doing that. And then here's a doily, another book page. Here's the back side. This is just tucked in here as well. And because I have some different things I want to type and stick to the top of that page. But there's that. And now we're going to get into some, you're going to be finding a few less pages being decorated, as I mentioned in the beginning. So here is Rhett in the jail, and I typed out, "Just how many sisters do you have, Captain Butler?" Because all these ladies who loved Rhett were going to the jail saying, "Oh, Rhett's my brother. I'm his sister." And so it was just like a lot of ladies coming in, and they're like, "Okay, we know it's not really your sister." And so here's another piece here. This is meant to just be tucked in here like this. I don't want it to be secured. And he's looking at her hands, and he says, "Why?" This is part of what he says. "These are no hands of a lady." And the full flip through, I'll explain it. Sorry to be a spoiler alert, or make you drag it out, but I'm already way longer than I want it to be on this video. I'm trying to hurry. So here is more pages there. Just another really cool collage scene here. I added some different layers and laces and some more typing and things like that. and kind of going through here. And that's the end of this segment. Now this one is all about Bonnie, their daughter. So here are all the papers that I've printed out and selected to finish this signature. So it's about after she and Rhett are married. This is poor Prissy and Mammy walking up to Rhett and Scarlett's new home, because she brought them with her to her and Rhett's home after they're married. So that's what this is, a really gorgeous photo. So these are pictures and different events and things that happened while she was married to Rhett. And you'll see these in the full flip through. I'll go through these in more detail. And just to give you a peek of their daughter, this is little Bonnie Blue. So, and it just kind of surrounds everything that happens in this part of the movie. Look at this gorgeous red paper. Oh, I love it. And it goes with this right here, this scarlet dress she's wearing. That's why I put that paper there. And just kind of flip through here pretty quick. Da, 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 da. There's that. And then down here, this is the second to last signature. This says, after all, tomorrow is another day, which of course is the famous line at the end of the movie, after Clark's, or Rhett's, I mean. And then here's some really fun trim on top there. So these are all things that I'm putting in here that are things that, I have a video on this one too, I'll link that one, that are surrounding all the different things that happened at this stage of the movie. Everything that happened at the end of the movie after, you know, after they lost Bonnie, and when Melanie was, you know, ended up passing away because of, you know, she was pregnant with her second child and she never should have been pregnant again, and all that. Here's just more fun pages. You're going to see kind of the same decorative pages repeated throughout this, as well as the copy paper. And then here is this little bit here. I love this photo. I couldn't find the person who made this to give them proper credit, but I will put a link to the website where I found it. It's this really beautiful photo of where, this is actual of the scene, not Rhett's face superimposed, but she's on the front of the house and she's looking out and it's foggy. Rhett had just walked away and left her for good, and she's like, what am I gonna do? And then here's like Rhett looking, because he's heartbroken. You know, his daughter just died. He loved Scarlett and their marriage is over, you know, and so he was a really sad moment. But it's a really gorgeous representation, I think. So here's some more pages here in the back. And then we're getting to the very last signature now. This one is going to be, oh, look at this cool technique I did in the back. I'll show you how I did that later. But this is the last part. I love this image I found. Again, I have to find who made this so I can give him proper credit. But it's one of her main dresses in the movie. And it's all kinds of the famous clips and quotes and stuff. It's really, really cool. So that gave me the idea of adding the sixth signature, because this was supposed to be the last, because it was the end of the movie, to come in here and just, you know, basically just pretty basic, you know, signature blank pages. But it's going to be full of all the different sayings and things that are so famous from the movie. And this one I found, I don't know who made this meme. It just says meme generator down the bottom, but this is so hilarious to me, because this must be my face when I talk to people who've never seen it and they're like, what? Why would you watch that movie? It's just like, I'm like, what is wrong with you? It's an amazing movie. So I won't go through all of them, but it's different sayings that are famous from the movie. And this is the scene where Prissy says, I don't know nothing about birth, no babies. So I printed that out. They'll be cut down, of course. Mammy in the first part of the movie, and she's going, because Scarlett was not listening to her and putting her bonnet on, or umbrella. And this is just some different parts from after Scarlett was a widow, and just some different dance scenes there. So this is pretty much the gist of it, as quickly as I can say it. Holy cow, 33 minutes, because it is just such an amazing book and movie. It's really hard to describe this in such a short video, at least for me, because I'm so passionate about this and I just love to talk about it. I mean, there's just so much more I want to tell you about and kind of the different plans I have, but you will see them, because moving forward I will be filming myself as I'm working on either working on the additional pages as I add to them throughout the years or whatever, and when I put in different components, and so I can show it to you in case you want to come along with me and watch my journey of me adding to this tome, which means so very much to me. I just love it. So I hope you all enjoyed this really, really quick kind of you know, flip through and kind of quick little verbiage about the movie and why I love it so much and what it means to me, and just all the really cool things about it itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up because I'm way over my time limit, and I will see you all soon. So be sure to look for the full flip through, and I'm warning you now, it's probably gonna be close to an hour if not longer. That's your warning. But if you want to watch it and kind of see the details and different things like that, please, you know, watch that second video. I'll have up by probably Sunday, Monday at the very latest. So I will see you all next time. So happy scrapping, happy planning, and happy crafting. And check the links in the description box so you can go see all the other people who have joined Nick on this challenge. There are some fantastic other novels and things that are being represented. So mine is just Gone with the Wind because I love it so much. I'll see you all next time. Bye!